Okay, so at the last comp that I did with the Tundra, I burned up my motor. I had a Holmes Hobbies Sport Torque Master, and I had it geared wrong. I had it too big of a pinion and ended up cooking that little wire right there that it can't get the camera to focus on. But anyway, cooked that wire right there. So we're gonna try to repair that. But then the other thing I did was I used a borrowed motor that had even more power and twisted off that output shaft on the transmission right there. So today we're going to put in a Robinson Racing one-piece diff locker gear. So today we're going to install this Robinson Racing one-piece diff locker gear. I believe it's hardened aluminum, so that should eliminate my problem of twisting off output shafts and get my transmission a little more solid. I didn't have enough money to order the full metal gear set for the internals, so I'll have to do that later, especially since I don't have a slipper clutch. So if I keep running with that kind of torque, I'm probably going to destroy gears on the inside. But one piece at a time, I could only afford the gear. So the first thing we got to do is crack this open. And get our busted piece out. As always, I recommend a good set of tools. They're worth the money. This is the Integi Team Integi Energy, however you want to say it, kit. Comes with a bunch of different sizes in there. Works great. I haven't had a problem with stripping out screws since I got this. I used to use a generic like Walmart Allen wrench set, and I always would strip pieces. So with this kit, no longer stripping the heads off my screws. Remember to keep your screws in an order so you know where they go. Everybody kind of has their own system usually. About to see how dirty my transmission is inside. I've never taken it apart since I got it. Not too bad. There's the diff right there. Now I don't know why they didn't do a solid one piece in the beginning. I think Axial is just cheap. And they build their kits, you know, for $400. You'd think they'd be a little better, but they want to charge you for upgrades later on. So there's our new gear, dropped right in. Center gear is still plastic. I'm going to put just a little bit of grease in here just to keep things kind of quiet, and just because I'm a firm believer in grease. that's that. Put that back together. Put our screws all back in it. That's easy enough. And obviously, had I gotten the metal gears, all I would have had to do was swap out those 2 extra gears that are in there as well. This part's a little bit trickier because I got to put these little spacers back in. Okay. I find that this, if you start the screw through just a little bit, then there's a little nub for that spacer to sit on. It'll hold it together. The hard one is this one down underneath here. It's kind of on the back side of it, so it can be a little trickier to get in there. This would be easier, I know, if I took the whole spur off, but it's one of those, why, if I don't have to. Alright. Now we just tighten it all down. Give it decent torque, but don't over tighten it. You don't want to break anything or strip anything. I'm good at that. Tend to put a little bit too much power on it. Work my grease around a little bit. Voila. Now I'm ready to go again. Okay, so now we're going to see if we can fix this broken lead on this motor. I took some criticism on my tennis ball video for apparently being very dangerous. That's how I roll. You know, other people were saying cut them with a razor blade. I've had more dangerous accidents cutting with the razor blade than I did. What I'm trying to do here is pry up this little tab. There's a little tab on here. Okay, so I couldn't get the wire lead back in, so I went ahead and soldered right here the lead back on. We're going to see if that is going to work. Oops. Probably work till it gets too hot and then it'll quit working. I'll probably have to build buy a different armature. Thankfully, Holmes Hobbies is pretty good. He sells parts for rebuilding his motors. So we'll try this out. I'm going to gear it lower, try to keep it cooler. See what we can get out of it. There's a little ring after you put your armature back in. Little ring slides into place to hold everything together. And then he's got the motors have a plus and a minus on them for your timing. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which way is which on this one. Basically put it together, and if the motor spins the right way, then you got it right. If it spins the wrong way, then flip it around. That's the easiest way to test it. And I already lost one of these motor leads, wasn't soldered on very well. So I got to resolder this motor lead real quick. That's the nice thing about a rebuildable motor, is you can take it all apart and fix it up and then put it back together again. They did a boogery job on this solder. Let's see if we can't get this squared away here. Creepers. Too much old junky solder on here. I clean my tip when I'm done soldering, and then I tin it with a little bit of solder on there. That keeps the tip good.